What's going on, guys? It's that Aussie, your favorite Aussie in Magic Jenkins. How you going today? Today on the channel, we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be analyzing the top three, well, I like to call the top three decks that have come out of the Neon Dynasty Championship that was been played over the last few days. We're just going to go through a brief overview and then explain why I think you will see meta changes now. A few quick things. You will still be seeing runes on ladder, but just know it didn't top 8. It didn't get anywhere close to top 8 at the Neon Dynasty Championship. It was trash and everyone boarded against it and it got destroyed. So that's one thing. Another thing is you'll see a few different cards. If you're an Alchemy player, you'll go into the Alchemy queue and you'll queue up against all these championship decks. I went into the queue and that's all you'll find. So it's important to know what decks you're going to be playing against and what they actually do. So if you're just a casual player that likes Alchemy, you need to watch this video and just see how you're going to beat them, because that's all that's in Alchemy at the moment. There is no players in Alchemy except for people playing these championship decks. And now, a quick message from our sponsors. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below to see more fantastic content from me, that Aussie in Magic Jenkins. And also, we have 2 new clickable links down below. Don't forget to go to Underground Games if you're in Australia and you want any MTG, Flesh and Blood, whatever products. You will get 5% off if you write down the code TRAGICMTG. Also, hit the link down below to go to Magic Kids if you have any unwanted Magic cards and you want to donate them to an amazing charity, amazing cause. Hit that link down below and send your Magic cards free. Thank you. Alright, so we're going to jump straight in. We're going to just quickly, the tournament was won by Eli Cassis playing Orzhov Venture. Orzhov Venture. I know, right? Who would have thought that an adventure deck would take home the Neon Dynasty Championship crown? Who would have thought? Not me. But all these pro players, they have teams. Unless you don't know, they have little teams, and they're of like, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 people, where they practice against each other and then they all go into the tournament, right? So there's like 5 in a team. You end up playing each other, as you would see a couple of the other guys playing this exact same new deck, had to play each other. And his team decided that they would build an Orzhov Venture deck. And honestly, this is the winning deck. And do you know why? Because it's got the best card in Standard, Wandering Emperor, and I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Joint best card in Alchemy with Triumphant Adventurer. These 2 cards are absolutely insane in Alchemy. We know about the Connoisseur. You've seen that before in one of my videos. Comes down 3/3 Death Touch, takes their highest mana costed card, leaves you with a blood token. How much value do you need? A 1 for 1. It's just a 1 for 2 sometimes. And it leaves your blood token. Like, oh my god. But, okay, we're going to jump straight into the Adventurer. Because this card, since it's rebalance, it's gone to a 2/1. And it's just an absolute beating. You can't block this card. It's a guaranteed Venture at least 4 times in every match. At least. So, the combination, that they saw how strong this card was. And then it decided, you know what? We're going to pair it with Nadar, Selfless Paladin. This card dominated the tournament. It performed so well. So well. And we're going to combine it with Precipitous Drop, which also got reduced cost in the last Alchemy update. Went down to 2. And this has just been a prime removal spell. And this deck is just so strong. If you have 2 Triumphant Adventurers in your hand, you're just going to win the game, because you're going to go straight down the dungeon of the Mad Mage. A couple of mistakes people made in the tournament was going down the middle dungeon, which is the Pandelver. When you have this much Venture potential in your deck, just go straight down the Mad Mage, because when you get to the end, you'll win the game off that. You draw 3 cards, reveal them, you can cast 1 of them for free. Insane. This deck took it home. It just brought it home in the sideboard. Alright, also, how about this card? Who on earth would have thought we would see Liaza Forgotten Archangel? Because she has been forgotten. I've forgotten all about her. Who would have thought we would see this card as a staple in the deck that won the tournament. I wouldn't have seen that coming. And do you want to know the reason? Gold double colored cards are at a premium right now, and that is because Vanishing Verse is the best removal spell in the format, and it is everywhere. Everywhere. And you'll see some matchups where if they throw out their Vanishing Verse on something else, they can't kill the Liaison. It happened to Cassis when he was playing in one of the final matches. Threw out his Vanishing Verse, the opponent played a Liaison, and he's like, well, shit, how am I supposed to kill this now? So double-colored cards are at a premium at the moment. The rest of the deck, Archon of Myria to deal with runes. It was funny, someone said to me, Archon of Myria is not great in your Orzhov deck when I played one a couple of weeks ago. He's like, the only thing it's good for is runes. No, it's not true. If you have board control of the board, and Archon of Myria makes it so you stay in control because you can both play one spell per turn. It's a good card. Still a good card. This card was everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Because runes, that's all. Because runes. So, and we got one Intrepid Adversary. March by the Worthy Light. It was a 3 duress format as well. Everyone was running 3 duresses because Planeswalkers. And because there's actually a lot of enchantments, there's wedding announcements, there's Kiki Jiki, which we're going to touch on in a second. And yeah, there was just a lot of hits for duress. Sideboard. Another duress. A Dawnbringer Cleric, because enchantments, there's lots of enchantments in the format still. Go blanks, we want to get rid of the rest of their cards. Meat hooks, because you need extras against pretty much all decks on the draw, when you're on the draw. 2 Blood Chiefs, extra removal. Cathar Commando. Interesting sideboard option. Interesting. And the Thraben Exorcism. Eli Cassis clearly likes a bit of his own jank in his, tournament-winning deck. Interesting, and I know, because when it pays off, then he can say, yeah, I did some crazy jank, and I'm a wizard. I know why he's done it. This card flashes in, can destroy artifact or enchantment. Surprisingly relevant. A Bank Buster for a draw engine, and 4 Trespasser, because this card was pretty much in every good deck. In every good deck. Purely because it comes in and it takes... This is a removal-heavy tournament. Every single deck has pretty much 8 individual removal spells plus sweepers. This deck a bit less, but just having to pay 2 cards to get rid of the Trespasser is why it was shown in most decks. I love this card. It's amazing. So Eli Cassis took down the tournament with this deck, and it was very, very fun to watch. The adventures, the synergies are so strong at the moment. So strong. And I think even if he was going to lose that last game, I said to myself, I think this is the strongest deck from the tournament. So now we're going to move straight over into the runner-up. The runner-up was, I believe he's 18. Zach Dunn playing Mardu. This Mardu deck, another deck you would have gone into the... you would have seen it in the championship. You'd be like, where are all these decks coming from? And this deck is similar to the Venture deck. In it's got the Duresses, it's got the Adventurers, it's got Archons, but it's got Emperor, Dracula, and the Connoisseur. Connoisseur is in every deck as well. But it has a couple of sub-themes. So the Fable of the Mirror Breaker is a new card that I was so surprised to see in the tournament. Honestly, I had no idea about the potential. Obviously, all the pros got together. They were like, look, this card looks broken as shit. Let's manipulate it. Let's be the only ones to play it. But there was obviously several teams who had the same idea, right? So it's basically a 3-drop, a 3-mana enchantment that gives you a 2/2 body on the first one that when it attacks creates a treasure. Super relevant. Second chapter, discard up to 2 cards if you do draw that many cards. Late game, you're holding lands. You pitch 2 lands, get 2 fresh cards. Beautiful. But it's the last chapter that's warped the tournament, right? This is such a threat. It comes in as a 2/2, tap for 1, create a token that's a copy of another target non-creature you control except it has haste. This is super crazy good for enters the battlefield abilities, right? So we saw it being manipulated with City Stalker Connoisseur. You can just get free Like, you can just get free, take the valuable, most valuable card out of their hand, right? Or you can just get a free apparition. Crazy. Nuts. You can get a free Valky. Awesome. In the other decks, you know, you get a free Town Razor Tyrant. You tax all their lands 24/7, baby. Notably, you can also do this defensively and create a copy of a 4/4 defensively. They don't see it coming, and you just block with a 4/4 with a 3/3 Death Toucher that just came out at instant speed. So this card was, you know, the surprise breakout card of the whole tournament. You'll be seeing a lot of this card around. I don't know where it's going to find its place in Standard, but it definitely will have a place in Standard, 100%. People have seen it now. They're going to start brewing with it, and something's going to come out. The rest of the deck, it's a bit more grindy. It's got the announcements. It's got... this is super crazy. This is super crazy. The best... Okay, I'm not going to say... No, that doesn't make sense. Tybalt Cosmic Imposter destroyed the top 8. Destroyed. Do you know why? It's a multicolored card. Can't get killed by Vanishing Verse. Can't get killed by Power Word Kill. Can't get killed by Infernal Grasp. Can't get killed by... Burn spells are hard to kill. It comes in with so much mana. So much loyalty. So the only thing that... It was easy, and the only thing people were running to kill it was maybe some... I don't know if we have the card in this deck. Soul Transfer. A couple decks around that, and that, in my opinion, that was the best card, and not everyone was running it. This was so hard to remove, and once it came in, it just won the game. These games go very long, and when someone top decked a Valky, they straight up played the Tybalt, and they won the game. That's what Zach done. I thought he was going to take out the championship. He top decked a Valky a lot of times, got a bit lucky in that sense, but he also played very well. But Tybalt Cosmic Imposter, another one of the cards of the tournament. Who would have seen that? One Dracula basically in every deck. One Sorin, sorry. And yeah, this deck was just a bit more of a grindy version. But we're seeing these mid-range decks all playing Fable, all playing tons of removal, all playing very, you know, valuable Planeswalkers that come in and make bodies. It was just a super grindy tournament. Super grindy. And he won, him and his partner, G, they both got into the top 8 playing this Mardu mid-range deck. So this could also be, you know, you could say this is the deck of the tournament as well. But, you know, I liked the straight-up flat mega adventure pathway because I thought it was just so strong. So strong. Once Eli Cassis, in the top, when he was playing around the top 4, when he discovered, all right, if I'm playing this deck, I just need to go into the Mad Mage. Once he discovered that, he won again and again. In my head, when he was going through the Pandelver, when he was going through this middle one, because it's, you know, it's the quickest, gets you value fast, I was like, dude, in my head, I was like, dude, get into the Mad Mage and you'll win all your games. And as soon as he started doing that, he started winning all his games. Because you can get through dungeons so fast in that other deck. So yeah, Zach Dunn did really well, 18-year-old, finished second. You know, he'd be still super proud of himself. The deck, you know, all these decks went on at least 8, what was it, at least 10-2, I think. So, I mean, the deck is no joke. Another option if you want to play Alchemy for sure. But yeah, what this deck says to me about Standard is double-costed cards. What this tournament tells me, sorry, is that in Standard and in Alchemy, playing double-colored cards is at a premium because they don't get hit by Vanishing Verse. It also tells me that we're going to see a lot more of the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. It also tells me that we already knew Connoisseur was an absolute beast. But we're going to go into the third deck now. The third deck was Jim Davis. Jim Davis went 12-0. He went 12-0 with this Grixis mid-range, and his historic deck, but he went 12-0 and then he lost both games in the finals, and I feel so sorry for him. But this Grixis mid-range pile was an absolute joy to watch. And you know why? Because I played this Rakdos mid-range build for my very first video on the channel, and I tore up Alchemy. I went 21-7. And all this is a build on that original Rakdos mid-range deck. And we're just going to add Kaido Shizuki from hella card draw. Hella card draw. And I also added a stowaway because this card was an absolute must-kill threat. Absolute must-kill threat. Rahilda and Harvester, you can get away with keeping them on the board, especially the Harvester. But the stowaway is 100% a must-kill threat. The only reason I've got one, and it works really well with Kaito. Only reason I've only got one is because our mana base doesn't cater to blue. You know, it's our least preferred color, so we have the least of it. Oh my god. This deck also runs Fable of the Mirror Breaker, and more noticeably in this deck, we have Tyrant to create a copy of as well. As soon as you pay 1 mana, create a copy of a Tyrant, you get a 4/4 flying haste dragon, and you also, the most important thing, is you get to keep flickering the ability of the Tyrant. You burn all their lands out. All of their lands just get catch you later. Otherwise, you just take millions of damage. You also create copies of your Connoisseur, copies of Trespasser. And yeah, I mean, this deck was way more simple. Get a creature down on turn 2, draw cards with Kaito, and in the mirror match, whoever has the Kaito wins the game. Don't worry, I've already tested the deck. I know this. Saw it in the tournament as well. All you have to do is get a 2-drop into Kaito, and you'll probably be winning the game. Drop your 4-drops, and then in the late game, you copy them for the win. See what I mean about these? I was so surprised to see 2 main deck bolts, 4 main deck surges. I added a spike field because I think it's perfect. 2 main deck dresses again. Crazy to me. All these little 1 mana cards. So many of them. Crazy to me. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But dress, really important card. Had to hit these Planeswalkers right. So many decks running a lot of Planeswalkers. But Flameless Bolt was an actual all-star. And the reason it's in the deck is cause runes. So you can hit their Kami of Transience for 1 mana and exile their Kami of Transience, and it ain't coming back. Voltage Surge is in the deck because it is absolutely insane in any deck that can generate treasure. 1 mana, deal 4 in Standard and Alchemy. What the absolute F? How good is that? It's amazing. So we're going to see a lot more decks with Voltage Surge, main deck, after this tournament, because everyone's going to be like, well, this card's insane. We might even see some main deck on ladder, some main deck bolts, because runes is still going to be on ladder. The synergies in this deck, blood tokens, and they count as artifacts to ditch to your Voltage Surge. So you always have a 1 mana deal 4. Awesome. Great synergy there. Rahilda's in there because it's card advantage when you can get it off, and we just needed the best 2-drops we could. Jim Davis clearly identified that. Trespasser's main deck because it is, well, probably Jim thinks it's one of his favorite cards. I think it's one of my favorite cards as well. It's a 2-for-1. It's always a 2-for-1, and when it hits night, this thing is a badass. Absolute badass. But yeah, Townraiser Tyrant's the only card that, the only deck you'll see it in is this deck, sorry. I think another person played Grixis mid-range, but I think it's Jim's deck. It performed quite well. It's my favorite deck of the tournament. It's I think Eli Cassis's deck is the best, but I like this one the most because it's my favorite kind of deck, Rakdos mid-range. In the sideboard, he had, interestingly, 2 Nighthawk Scavengers, which were actually very, very good. So when you play the mirror, you'll come up against, you have your 2 mana creatures that have 2 toughness. They'll get destroyed by every single removal spell in the format. All these take care of all these. Do you know what I mean? So what you can do is, in the mirror, you can board out your 2-drops, and you can add in Scavengers and Meat Hooks, and then you can Meat Hook for 2, and it won't kill your Scavengers, won't kill your Trespassers. You know what I mean? You've got to think about it like that. There's also this card, Soul Transfer, important card in the sideboard, I feel. It wasn't played in a lot of decks, though, but I think people needed to, because they needed to deal with Tibalt, but they couldn't. Tibalt was a massive problem in this this tournament. We got 2 more Duresses, we got a Disdainful Strokes, Go Blank, more Trespassers, and another Sorin. But yeah, ultimately the format was just super, super, super grindy. The games went late, and whoever could just keep their Kaito on the field, or whoever could, get their Planeswalkers to stick. That's all it was about. Who can get their Planeswalker to stick around, that's how you win the game. We saw some awesome, awesome games. I highly advise you to go get over onto Hello Good Games channel. He streamed the whole tournament. Watch them. They're such good games. Awesome games. I I had a lot of fun watching the tournament. And I think, so now we're going to jump into what it's going to change in Standard. And yeah, just what do I think it's going to change in Standard? Ultimately, there was also a lot of mono white decks. Polo, Vito, Dama de Rosa played a white deck that was duplicated a couple of times. Another player, Johnny Gootman or something like that, piloted one in the top 8. That was just mono white, 4 Archon of Emerias, and Inquisitor captains and such. I don't think this tournament changes. I think mono white is in a way better place on ladder at the moment than Runes is. So what you're going to see on ladder, you're going to get wrecked by mono white. I think Control is in a really good spot at the moment, because you're going to see people playing mono white, and they're going to be playing 4 Archon of Emerias every single time to deal with Runes on ladder, because Runes is still going to be all over ladder. But what's going to change from this tournament is Runes are going to get a whole lot worse, because people know how to play against Runes now. See all these little 1 mana removal spells here? These wreaked havoc on Runes all throughout the tournament. Runes could not get going. Not at all. All you have to do is hold up 1 red mana, they commit to 1 creature, you burn it, they die. While you've got all these other threats on the field, and you're just holding up this 1 mana every time. Like, people just outmaneuvered Runes. I saw this one game. I should have put this deck in here, but it was an interesting one. It was an Izzet deck with a sub-mill theme. He would often board out his mill cards and just win the games through just sheer tempo plays. It was an Invoke Calamity deck, and it was so fun. Like, he'd be playing Runes, pick off a creature, play a card, draw a spell, hold up mana, hold up Unexpected Windfall, draw heaps more cards, pick off another one with a little 1 mana removal spell. Then he'd invoke Calamity, draw more cards, pick off another creature, and just like, I was like, oh my god, this is insane. Runes is dumb. This tournament's made me realize how bad Runes is now. You just got to play. You have to play some little removal spells like this, or you're playing Control and you're playing Sweepers. But if you just play some little removal spells like this, Runes cannot, and a lot of them, Runes cannot beat you. Simple as that. I think Runes is done. I think Runes has had its time. But you still see it on ladder, of course. What you also will be seeing is these kind of decks. You're going to be seeing a Fable of the Mirror Breaker deck in Rakdos shells, probably. I think Crokies has already made a version of the deck, or like a Mardu shell. You're going to see these Mardu decks, like this last deck. This one probably won't translate into Standard as much, but this Mardu deck, I think, will translate into Standard. I think we'll see a Standard Mardu deck come out on top, because they've got all the cards here, right? Their best cards are, can easily take out Adventurers and Connoisseurs, and the deck has just got a really good shell in of itself still. But I think Control is going to be in such a good spot now, because there's going to be a lot of Archon of Emerias being played in the best aggressive deck. The best aggressive deck will be mono white. They're going to be playing an average 3-drop against Control, which is Archon of Emeria. And I think you just have way more gas. Way more gas. I destroyed ladder with my last Control deck, because it's a slower format. Where Alchemy is slower, Standard will be slower as well. More slow than what we've recently seen. It's been very fast for a while, but trust me, it's about to slow down. Because the mono white deck it has to run Archon of Emeria, and if they don't, they'll get run over by Runes, and then then Control decks will just overrun Runes. So it's kind of like a cycle effect, where either way the Control decks win. So my advice is to play Control on ladder in the next couple of weeks. I think you'll do very, very well. Because all these decks, yeah, like I said, they'll translate into Standard, and they're all mid-range decks. They're all a bit slower. And yeah, I think it's gonna I think the meta is in a super interesting place at the moment. I think Izzet is probably back to being quite strong. In the respect that, I mean, you can just play Invoke Calamity and counter spells and burn spells, and you can just completely dismantle your opponent at instant speed. You'll be seeing that deck. I'm gonna pilot it and I'll show you guys. It's just awesome. But yeah, I hope you liked seeing all the decks that we got from the. Oh wait, hold on. Have I even showed you guys? I did show you guys this deck already. What am I talking about? It's interesting to see. Yeah, Liaza, isn't it? Like Liaza, Forgotten Archangel. I mean, super strange. It's a good card, but it just can't be. It's so hard to kill in this tournament, and people saw that before they even came in. Overall, yeah, Runes performed badly. Mono White performed well. Azorius Control performed admirably-ish. With all the discard spells running around, I wouldn't be piling it. Andrei Skrowski piloted it, and he got real salty on freaking Twitter about his loss, and now everyone hates him, so it is what it is. But yeah, if you liked the video, if you liked hearing about the decks that destroyed the Neon Dynasty Championship, and if you liked, if you liked what I had to say about what the meta is going to be looking like in the next few weeks, make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. It was great fun to watch the championship. As I said, go back onto Hello Good Games channel on YouTube and check out the whole tournament there. It was awesome. And don't think this won't translate into any differences in standard, because it will. It always does. Doesn't matter that it's alchemy. You'll be seeing Kiki Jiki on the ladder a fair bit. People trying to brew with it. It might even come out with a really good deck. We'll see. But yeah, this has been your man Jenkins. It's been a pleasure as always. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below. Leave a comment, and we're gonna set up a Discord soon, so all my homies all you beautiful people can jump down below, and jump in the Discord, and we can just talk about stuff every week, and I can give advice to people about how to grind ladder and etc. etc. But yeah, thank you so much for watching again. This has been a nice quick video, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.